we are building a social network to beat two of the biggest entrepreneurs of our time.
Zuck owns Facebook, Instagram, and several different messengers. The two has approximately 4 billion active users. Musk has X with nearly 500 million users. And these two wanna fight.
What they haven't considered is that someone else might come along
and beat them at their own game.
And that someone could be us.
The question we gotta ask ourselves is,
how does one make an app that attracts 8 billion users?
We need to figure out how Zuck is still on top of the game and what does Musk know that we don't. Even so, we wouldn't start copying them. No,
we show the world what our vision is.
We want something familiar but original enough. More importantly, we must actually bring it to life. And that means coding, designing, thinking of all the different use cases and redoing pretty much everything again, and again, and trying not to burn out or go insane in the process. Eventually, we will get it right. And then we go to the moon. My goal is to finish it by my 30th birthday.
Siin ma sain 29.
I have exactly 1 year, but my resources are very limited.
Silmad nagu vaevu püsivad lahti ausalt öeldes.
I have a full-time job, so I have to fit this project around it. The only way is to do a little bit every single day.
Sa muidu nagu ise valmis ei saa.
Your brain is the freshest in the morning.
Over a longer period of time, it should add up.
Ma loodan, et see toimib.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet. First, we gotta figure out what are we even building.
Here's the thing. Instagram copied Snapchat. Twitter copied Clubhouse.
Well, actually they all copy each other.
Zuck bought the Instagram. Musk bought the Twitter.
Then Zuck made his own Twitter.
It's not about being first. It's not even about being better. Back in the day, it was more common to have your own website. That had so much personality. Now we have social media, which on the contrary has less personality but is effortless.
What we are looking is something in between.
Which is why I'm thinking of experimenting with blogging.
Design cannot be too wild because it has to function as a canvas for other creators.
Programs consist of ones and zeros, and it's essential to give it a human touch from the real world. And our world operates according to the laws of physics. If I push this box, then mass, damping, and stiffness come into play. If I take this paper, it doesn't simply pop open, it's seamless. And have you ever noticed Apple's corners? These are not just rounded. They use what's called super ellipses, which are butter smooth. These are small details, but they really add up to the whole experience, and in my opinion, it's simply a must-have.
So your classical post is in one piece, usually in a feed.
Now, what if we split it into multiple pieces?
So the idea of a post becomes a feed instead.
We call those little pieces swipes. A feed of your journal could be 14 swipes long, or your music playlist could be 50 swipes. And the name will be Swipekick, which is like a sidekick, an assistant to a superhero.
But in our case, it actually helps us swipe.
While working on this movie, I began to realize that I might be creating some misconceptions.
I can't let people think that the process is actually as straightforward as this.
It's not a journey from point A to point B. Rather, it's like going from A to W. Only then you realize where B has been all along.
We have to go back to the actual beginning.
And Swipekick is no exception. In fact, I have been struggling with it for years.
It all began 7 years ago with the initial sketches dating back to 2016. The logo was created in a mere 15 minutes, consisting of 11 circles. I didn't know how to write a single line of code. I had a friend who had recently started studying computer science. The name of that legend who embarked on this journey was Sander. He said, in IT, anything is possible. 2 years passed by, we realized there was a lot more work involved. That's why we scaled to 2 Sanders 1 year ago. 4 of us worked relentlessly. It's difficult to admit, I couldn't define what Swipekick was, so I just kept redesigning it. Despite our efforts, the finish line just kept moving farther away, which really drained everyone's energy. We somehow managed to reach our minimum viable product, and Swipekick.com went live.
ilmselgelt ei tulnud sinna mitte ühtegi kasutajat. Põhiasi on nagu see, et kuidas sa teed nagu äppi, mida sa tahad, et kõik kasutama hakkaksid, kui sa isegi ei tea, mida sa ise kasutaksid. Minu arust nagu ükskõik mis loomingut tehes on ülioluline selle asja süda. Aga too hetk, mida ma mõtlesin, oli see, et tahaks lihtsalt mingit next big thingi teha. Ja see tuli nagu nii valest kohast. Ja võib-olla sellepärast Swipekick ei tundnudki kunagi õige ega valmis. See on päris reits õppetund tegelikult. Swipekick was dead and 2020 sucked big time. Sometimes you're smart enough to understand how stupid you really are. Then you have to decide whether to stay stupid or learn. But it never actually is a choice, is it?
And guess what? In the following years, I became a software engineer myself, so something was born out of it.
18. Detsember, siin ma sain 29.
Ma lihtsalt pean selle asja valmis tegema, sest ma ei saa lasta sellel juhtuda, et kõik see vaev, mida kõik teised nägid, oleks lihtsalt ilma asjata. Yeah. I have 1 year, 365 days until my 30th birthday.
2023 on Swipekicki aasta ja ma räägin teile, Swipekick tuleb ära.
It was time to find Swipekick's heart. Ja nüüd ma teen seda, mida Zuckerberg ja mingid tüübid tegid 20 aastat tagasi, nii et võib-olla ajastus ei ole nagu parim, aga who cares? I design a program at the same time, then I immediately see whether it actually feels right or if I need to go back to the drawing board.
Kui ma liigun väiksemaks, siis ainult need, mis ära ei mahu, tulevad siia.
Standard on täpselt nii kõrge, kuni ma ise rahul olen asjaga.
Kõik erinevad katsetused, mis ma siin tegin.
I have redone some things about 20 times.
Kas sa tahad mängida tegelikult?
Super ellipses aren't natively supported on the web.
Lõpuks närisin läbi.
What I have to do is measure every element and then cut them out with the super ellipse algorithm. It's a complete pain. I guess that's why nobody else is doing it. When it comes to spring-based animations, fortunately, there are some very nice libraries that we can use.
Kõige keerulisem osa vist on disain.
For profiles and feeds, I actually want to have different themes, but the priority right now is default light and dark modes. I have to make choices, and right now, it's the MVP. For every single photo that is uploaded, I'm analyzing it for dominant color, darkness levels, and measurements. Basically, I'm using that data to paint the UI accordingly for a more personal touch.
Värvid reguleeritud selle pildi põhjalt.
I'm also using AI to analyze and write me a caption of what's on the image, which is great for accessibility and SEO.
Ja sa pead mõtlema nende peale ka, kes nii hästi ei näe, et kas näiteks kontrastsus on piisav.
The idea of a swipe is to be a small unit of content.
But the number of swipes can quickly add up, which is why I'm creating a custom slider to navigate quickly between different parts of the feed.
You sometimes need more space.
That's why I decided to create the ability to expand a single swipe. It has to be seamless. The real tech is not there yet, so I need a workaround. I'm placing two identical elements on top of each other that switch to create that illusion. To be honest, it took me way too long. That being said, I still decided to include the good old article view.
Räigelt alahindasid seda töökogust, mis kogu selle asjaga on.
One feed can have many swipes. You should be able to add, delete, and move them, but the content inside of the swipe must also be editable. There can be text, images, videos, subheadings.
Ma pean kuidagi aru saama, mis muudatus hetkel on toimunud.
Swipe is actually a JSON schema, and I have to map it through on the server. I don't want to store images that aren't used anywhere anymore, but I should also never remove the wrong stuff either.
It's crucial that it looks and feels like the real thing. I'm adding all the policies as swipes and feeds as well. I'm generating illustrations to breathe more life into the platform. Then there are custom emails for sign-up, login, and waiting lists to gather people during the private beta period. I'm also implementing some hidden measures to combat malicious users.
Swipekick ei saa mitte kunagi valmis.
It's almost at the end of November, which leaves me less than 1 month, but I'm going on a trip tomorrow. A trip that I actually planned to go on after I had finished this thing. There are days where I think, wow, I did this thing. Then there are moments where I'm like, this sucks. Honestly, I really don't know at this point anymore. How can I reach a point where I can say that, okay, it's actually good enough?
I'm sorry, I really didn't want this movie to be a downer. Don't get me wrong, I still like doing it. However, working before work and then working after work and then fitting your real work, your real job in the middle of it, it's a lot, and eventually it takes a toll. So the deadline was approaching. Although I really wanted to finish it in Portugal, I just couldn't do it anymore. I just couldn't do it. And I started to accept the fact that maybe it's something that I can never finish.
ma vist reaalselt mõtlesin välja.
And it's so strange that sometimes you have to travel 4,500 kilometers to the middle of Atlantic Ocean, climb on top of a mountain to realize this basic truth. This project was at its most fun when we started doing it together.
In IT, anything is possible.
It really occurred to me, that Sander not only said it, it was the way how he said it.
He also had a smile on his face, no matter what silly redesign ideas I drew with him.
There really is only one way we can finish this movie up.
Ciao. Ciao.
Because like Miley Cyrus said, journey is usually the part to remember anyways.
Joo. Oi, tere.
How does one make an app that attracts 1 billion users? Well, we didn't manage to beat either Zuck or Musk. Nor did we go to the freaking moon. I don't know. It seems that those kinds of things are just a byproduct of what's actually important. And for me, it's the art of creation itself.
sa ise mäletad, kui sa ütlesid, et in IT anything is possible?
On väga tore, et ma olen suutnud midagi siukest öelda.
See üks asi, mida ta tegelikult veel ütles, et IT-s ei saa asjad kunagi valmis.
Tulebki katsetada, see tuleb kuidagi välja paisata ja käima tõmmata kasvõi nagu väiksel skaalal. Aga et siis on nagu mingit siukest välja kui feedbacki.
Nii, ma kohe vajutan nuppu ja kui ma seda teen, siis swipe kõik läheb laivi. Nii et see hetk on käes.
It's such a strange feeling to finally use it yourself. So I'm doing a travel feed about my Portugal trip. And I'm just adding some swipes right now. That's the beauty of software development.
Well, I became old.
Mis on tänane announcement?
The time had finally come.
Kui te lähete praegu swipeik.com, see on olemas. See on ultimate beta release.
In retrospect, it's just a bunch of feeds, swipers and posts. Anyone could do the same app within a month or two. But to arrive at that simple conclusion, it took countless of hours of experimentation. SwipeKick hasn't been simply SwipeKick for a long time. It has become a symbol for the story behind it. That's why I never changed the logo, even though it has nothing to do with swiping. It's a reminder of day one of one of the most important lessons of my 20s. It is a story of how you can lose yourself, but it's also a story of how you can find yourself. Above anything else, it is a story of 4 friends who wanted to do something cool together. And that's the heart of SwipeKick.